I've been helping people with money for more than 20 years, but no one stumped me more than the princess.
My retirement plan is to marry rich. I'd get a quality man in that dress for sure.
I'm here to help this princess take control of her money and her life. Over the next 6 weeks, she'll live on a strict cash diet and complete weekly challenges. When it comes to your line of credit, you're an idiot. If this princess has what it takes, I'll transform her from spender to saver. And I'll give her up to $5,000 to help her pay down her debt.
I don't appreciate being controlled. What's the point of this?
No changes, no money.
Oh, 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 she's a princess. She's a princess.
Meet Cortney.
My name is Cortney, and I'm 29.
This princess is truly one of a kind.
She's not, quote unquote, a true princess. She won't spend $3,000 on a handbag, but she will spend large amounts of money pursuing her love for the outdoors.
She's involved in every activity you could possibly think of.
Mountain biking, basketball, squash indoors, kayaking, camping, indoor rock climb, beach volleyball. I go to the gym, take yoga.
Courtney's an environmentalist who loves the great outdoors. While Cortney says she respects the environment, she doesn't extend the same respect to her friends.
You have to be generous being friends with Cortney.
Definitely, I'll pick up more checks than her.
You go out to the bar, she falls a little short, or her paycheck hasn't come in time.
She's got an it all comes out in the wash kind of attitude, and it doesn't always.
Over time, it ends up being pricey.
I'm not one of her rich ex-boyfriends.
If she goes out on a date, she expects him to pay, and she doesn't want to go to the corner restaurant. She wants to be wined, be dined.
My retirement plan is to marry rich.
She's fixated on a cottage living rich guy.
I'd get a quality man in that dress for sure. I'll marry for love the second time and marry rich the first time.
The search to find Mr. Right is a time-consuming project, so much so that she won't spend a moment alone.
This is a girl that would go out and buy a kayak for a date. I think that this search for true love is costing her some money.
Courtney's self-absorbed attitude seems apparent to everyone except her.
Do I act annoying and spoiled? I hope not. I hope none of my friends describe me like that.
She's spoiled.
She does maybe feel entitled.
She wants to be the princess of a different kind of fantasy.
According to her close friends, it's now or never.
She can't go on living life the way she is.
I don't want to lose her as a friend over anything like money.
She needs to start realistically looking at her lifestyle.
There definitely has to be a voice in the wilderness saying, girl, like, enough camping, pay your bills.
Pushed to the limit, they've decided to cut her off. And they've called me in to confront her about her financial mess. But you really can't afford the big life you have.
I guess not.
And you make good money. So how come you're always in the red?
I don't restrict myself too much when it comes to entertainment and enjoying sports and clubs and things like that.
So what magical thing happens one day that makes the debt disappear if you just keep racking it up?
I have no idea.
We saw from a few of your friends that they're pretty annoyed because you bomb stuff. So, do you consider yourself a mooch?
I don't. I actually think that's a pretty one-sided account of things.
You actually even expect other people to pay for you when you're traveling together.
I know where this is going.
Yeah, of course you do. Let's hear from Val.
In Costa Rica, I spent more money than she did. I keep paying for stuff that you're not paying for. I'd say she's impulsive, frivolous, a mile wide, an inch deep.
Being described as a mile wide and an inch deep or whatever sounds pretty derogatory, so definitely it wasn't a high point in my day.
Can we see Craig, please?
She comes over to my house a lot for dinner and usually eats a lot.
I do eat a lot.
Cortney will benefit if she realizes the rule of reciprocity. If someone invites you over for dinner, maybe have them over for dinner to say thank you.
Holly, please.
I've really had to distance myself from her in certain respects because when we hang out, it ends up costing me far too much money. So while I'd love to be hanging out with this wonderful woman, I simply can't afford to. And I'm afraid for Cortney, if I have to keep putting this space in between us, and if other friends have to keep putting this space, she might end up in a very lonely place.
There's a theme that runs through all your friends' comments.
Before people say you're a mooch, then I guess you're the problem, right? I'm disappointed with all of my friends and what was said in unison. I mean, those are pretty big things to say.
Now that Courtney's heard the hard truth, it's time for her to see the hard numbers. The reason Holly has joined us is because you have been mooching off of friends. And so she's here to represent that everybody's sort of drawing a line in the sand. So you have $22,000 worth of debt, $15,000 of which is student loans. On the payment system you're on, this is going to take you for frickin' ever to get out. And by the time you're done, you'll have paid an additional $5,000 in interest. This is how you have been spending your money. A whopping 0% on savings.
Yeah.
You're not surprised to hear that, right? You're spending just around 16% on debt repayment, which is in line with what I say you should be spending on debt repayment, except that it's totally irrelevant in your case because you actually have more debt than is sensible, and so that actually is not going to get the debt paid off fast enough.
I was startled because I just thought she had it all. You know, she was the career woman with everything, but it's an illusion.
You're spending about 39% of your income on your needs.
That's it.
That's it. Wow. And 48% of your income, almost half your income, is going to your wants.
I'm overwhelmed by what I want. I don't know what I want. I don't know what I need. That's a lot, 48%.
And that's what makes you a princess.
Yeah.
That and the fact that that is only the stuff we can track. It doesn't cover the stuff you mooch.
I don't restrict myself very much. I suppose I have some entitlement issues with my frivolous activities and whatnot.
You're earning right now $3,200 a month net, which works out to about $47,000 a year. You would have to make $70,000 a year to live that life and get your debt paid off.
Really?
Yeah.
Should look for a new job.
You'd have to make $83,000 a year to have your life, get your debt paid off, and do the traveling you like to do. And if you were actually using credit to fill the gap, you'd actually be going into debt to the tune of $2,000 every month.
Yeah.
So are you actually prepared to cut her off?
Yeah,
You're sure?
I'm sure.
Now it's just a matter of whether you want to be sensible about your money.
I do, yes.
No bitching, no whining.
Yep.
This is about taking control of your money and your life. Do what I expect you to do, and I'll give you up to $5,000 to help you meet one of your goals. Don't do it,
deal.
you don't get the money.
Loud and clear.
Over the next few weeks, you're going to learn to stand on your own 2 feet. You're going to learn to live within your means. And you're going to learn to have the things you want without tapping somebody else.
Yay!
And now comes the time to put your plastic where your mouth is. I want your debit cards and your credit cards because you're going on a cash diet.
There's 1, 2, 3.
Coming up, can I put a dent in Cortney's indifference? I want physical proof to satisfy me.
What if no one...
What if no one comes? You fail the challenge.
Oh, 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 she's a princess. Oh, 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 she's a princess.
Cortney is a 29-year-old environmentalist struggling to live within her means, so she gets other people to help make ends meet.
She doesn't buy a drink the whole night.
I think everything does even out, generally.
Her tactless behaviors pushed her friends to the limit.
There's a price tag to being with her, so you don't hang out with her.
She has to prove she can curb her selfish ways and stand on her own 2 feet. Since I took your debit cards and your credit cards, you have to live on cash. That's your variable spending. That doesn't cover your rent and stuff like that, those fixed costs.
Okay.
This challenge is called your Get Real Challenge. Okay? Make a budget, you're gonna make a debt repayment plan, and you are going to throw open the doors of your life to your friends. They may come when they wish.
They're always welcome.
They may eat what they want. Keep in mind that you will only have $120 for the month for entertainment compared to the $490 you have been spending.
The challenge is in changing my lifestyle, not in the money. What if no one...
What if no one comes? You fail the challenge.
It has come to my attention through some harsh words on camera that I have taken or do take advantage of my friends. In the spirit of repayment, I'm extending an invitation to everyone to drop by my house for tea, dinner, games, or a visit anytime.
You can do this every Saturday morning if you want.
Also, if you need a ride, please let me know in advance and I will see what I can do. If you'd like to borrow my bike, kayak, clothes, or CDs, or anything else, no problem. You're all very dear to me, and I hate the idea of me being thought of as a mooch.
Week 1 gets off to a good start. But if she wants my $5,000, she's going to have to start looking at some hard facts and opening up some unpaid bills.
This is my filing system, and I go through it, I guess, less than once a year. Bank statement, bank statements, bank statement, parking ticket, another parking ticket. Never open these. Car repair. This is important documents. Vet bills, they just bleed you dry. More parking tickets. Student loan, hydro, car insurance, electricity bill, health insurance. What a mess.
Step 1 was the easy part. Step 2 means figuring out how to pay off those bills.
It's not bad. I'm just, procrastinating.
So how much do you owe total?
I don't know.
You don't even know?
You don't even know how much you owe. Let me get the bill. I totally ignored my student debt. But having to sit down and look at it again has taught me that I do want it out of my life. Okay, well, this one's $4,000. If I want to pay it off in 6 months, then I have to pay $314.83.
That's not bad.
This is one of...
Amount of money.
Yeah. I don't want to be giving them any extra money if I don't have to. So I should, up my payments and get it off my plate.
No, she's playing hardball.
Yeah, definitely. 3 years to pay off my student loan. I don't have my head in the sand like I did before. I've managed to open all of my envelopes and read my bills. I used to just ignore them and throw them in a heap. Now I definitely take responsibility for all of it.
So I looked at your debt repayment plan. What was the big shock in doing this one?
I really didn't consider that I would have my student loan paid off in 3 years.
Okay.
I thought it would just hang over me like a storm cloud.
The problem with the student loan program and the repayment schedule is it's designed to keep you in debt for 10 years.
I know.
Yeah.
I learned that. 3 repayment schedules are to pay off my student loan in 36 months, my line of credit in 24 months, and my car in 6 months.
This works. So I think you did a great job. Can you live like this?
I'm definitely going to try and live like this.
Yeah. Has this been a big eye-opener for you?
I thought I didn't make enough money to live on, and I do.
I'm pretty satisfied. I think you did a great job.
Great, thank you.
And now we come to your less is more challenge. So your computer broke, and you don't have the tools you need to manage your money electronically. One of the barriers to getting the computer is probably the price you think you have to pay for the computer. So what do you think you have to pay for a computer?
$1,500?
Your challenge this week is to get the computer for less. So you think you need $1,500 to buy a computer? I'm going to give you half that.
Okay.
Okay?
Sounds good.
Coming up.
Don't try this at home, okay?
Oh, 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 she's a princess. Oh, 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 she's a princess.
Cortney is just about to turn 30, but according to her close friends, she's far from adulthood.
She doesn't know how to say no to herself.
A whack of her income goes to extracurricular activities, shopping, and a fancy nightlife. And when her paycheck can't cover it, she gets other people to.
If she pays for the bar tab, she won't be able to pay for her car insurance. Just a lot of little things here or there.
With over $20,000 in debt, her friends have decided to cut her off.
Nobody wants to feel like they are being taken advantage of for their kindness.
They've called me in, and I have 6 weeks to get this princess living a life she can afford. I sent Cortney to meet with an expert to see if she could find a reliable laptop priced within her budget.
So check this out. It's nice and light, right?
Oh, yeah, super light.
Okay, now don't try this at home, okay? And you want to be interested in 3 things in here. One is the hard drive. How big is the hard drive? All your movies, you want to watch movies and TV? It's going to go in here. The microprocessor, tiny chip, big brains of the operation, right? And then, of course, the optical disc, if you want DVDs, CDs, you want to burn stuff. And ultimately, the key piece of it, which everybody cares about, is the RAM. Now, the RAM is the chips, the thinking part of it, where all the work gets done.
What does RAM stand for?
Random access memory, kind of a goofy, geeky term. But really what you want to do is buy a good computer and add RAM maybe a year into it to stave off obsolescence so you can run bigger, faster, better programs.
Okay.
So let me tell you how to shop at a big box store. You go in, you look at the laptop aisle. You look at the most expensive, you take note of the price. You look at the cheapest, take note of the price. And then you aim for the guy in the middle. That'll give you really good value. You won't be paying for cutting-edge technology, and and you probably can get a competent computer, well priced, out of that.
It's worth doing your research. I definitely don't need the best computer out there because I'm not going to be doing some of the things they're designed for, so it wouldn't be the right fit, so I could save money that way.
So you had to go out and get yourself a computer, and you thought you were going to have to spend $1,500 on a computer, and you ended up spending $480. Show me what you got.
I got this laptop. It's exactly what I need. It's not the highest end, it's not the lowest end.
No, it's right in the middle. But it shows that you can shop smart, get what you need for less. Later, I met up with Cortney and her nominator, Holly, here to assign Cortney's next challenge. I bet you're wondering why we're standing in a kitchen. This is your giving back challenge?
I thought I gave back already.
No, plenty more giving back to do yet. I am going to make you have a dinner party. It's a dinner party where you have to give a seminar on debt repayment, specifically around student loans, and why sticking with the minimum payment on your student loan is such a bad idea. So you're going to show people not only your culinary skills, but how to chop the interest on their student loans so that they don't end up in the mess you were in.
Okay. And that just about does it. Thanks for coming.
I love free dinners.
You guys don't know this, but I'm going to be giving you a presentation on student loan debt repayment.
Oh, nice.
We'll get through dinner and then sit tight.
It's a post-dinner thing.
Cheesy.
Hope it's cooked.
I like that.
By staying in and cooking, Cortney spent a grand total of $60, a fraction of what she would have spent at a restaurant or bar.
Yum. It actually is really good.
Corey, good job.
I've never eaten Cortney's food before. It was pretty good.
Cheers.
Cheers.
I'm more cognizant of giving back directly to people that have given to me. So now the time you've all been waiting for, I'm going to give you my presentation on student loans, the good, the bad, and the ugly. The bad thing is that most students don't plan for it. You need to plan before you go to school. You should know how long you want to be in school for. And you need to know how much money you need to make at the end of your education so you can pay back your debt. So the biggest thing to know is your interest rate. If you had a $20,000 loan at 8%, let's say, then your monthly payment would be $643 over 3 years, and you'd pay a total interest of $3,100 roughly. 9.5 years, $270 a month, not bad, right? Reasonable. You're paying 10 grand in interest. Here's what's interesting. The repayment term with National Student Loan Center is 9.5 years.
Wow.
That is actually really good research. They should show you that in high school before you leave. That should be your last year.
Totally. Yeah, I thought it was great, and it seemed to make sense. And she actually seemed to understand what she was talking about.
Coming up, my final verdict. To be quite frank, I wasn't convinced you were doing this for the right reasons.
Oh, 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 she's a princess. Oh, 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 she's a princess.
Cortney was an impetuous princess whose hobbies and travel plans took priority over everything and everyone around her.
Being able to have pretty much whatever I want, whenever I want. High priority is doing something fun every day.
When her own income fell short, she turned to friends and family, but she overstayed her welcome.
She needs to think about money because there's not going to be anybody left at the end of the day that wants to go to the bar with Cortney if they're always footing the bill for Cortney.
I made Cortney live on a strict cash budget and experience what it was like to be used. And I challenged her to shop smart. So how far has she come?
I actually really believe that I just didn't make enough money to live as a single person in the city. And I realized that I do make enough. I just choose not to spend wisely.
Before I give my final verdict, I wanted to check in with Holly to get her thoughts on Cortney's transformation. So have you seen a big change?
Yeah, I've seen a huge change.
Yeah.
I've watched Cortney taking the bus more. I've watched her counting her pennies, using cash. I've heard her say she can't afford to go out.
So you can actually spend more time with Cortney now. Because she's not quite as obsessed with spending money on activities. There are things you can do together. So maybe she learned some lessons.
I think she's learned quite a few.
Yeah.
She's a smart cookie.
Cortney, come and join us.
I have $500 in my savings account, so even if I get nothing, then I've still got something.
Cortney did break the mold on the princess because while she was not obsessed with how she looked, she wanted whatever she wanted whenever she wanted it, and she didn't mind who else had to pay for it. I think you did pretty well. You know?
Pretty well.
You think you did great.
Yes.
When I got here, You thought you were entitled to spend money you didn't have. And you were a little bit delusional about what you thought you could afford. And you were mooching. The other thing is, to be quite frank, after my first day with you, I wasn't convinced you were doing this for the right reasons. I thought maybe you had signed up for the entire process because that $5,000 looks so attractive to you that you could just rope a bunch of people in and get them to support you in this endeavor to get the $5,000. I think we have moved way beyond that. You had a huge eye-opener when you did the calculation on the student loans, and you thought to yourself, oh my God, that's 2 degrees.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so the whole process emotionally had a bigger impact on you than initially you thought it would.
That's fair.
Okay, stay on track with the budget. Make sure you stay focused on the debt repayment, because as long as you're wasting money on interest, that's less money to go towards your goals. And keep up the good work. At your next big birthday, you will be amazed at what you've accomplished.
I hope so. Yeah.
Good. It comes time for the check. While you may still maintain some of your princess characteristics, you know, I want things my way, that's okay if you're prepared to work really hard for it. And that's what you get. You get a reward.
That's awesome.
You worked hard, and even though there were some difficult moments, you persevered.
Thank you.
I think Cortney will follow through on living on the budget. I think it came as a huge awakening to her that she could actually manage on her money. I think often the barrier to people making a budget is they're afraid that the numbers are going to show they can't have the life they want. And Cortney has now discovered she can have the life she wants, and if she does it right, she can also do it without debt.
I've saved a lot of money. I have a budget now. I'm very proud of myself. I think it's invaluable what I've learned and learned about myself.
I can tell she loves to go shop. She's all out of control. She can't stop. Designer clothes, jewels, hair. She's throwing money everywhere. My head is spinning. Oh, 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 oh. She's a princess. She's a princess. Modern day princess.